Hello, today we're going to go on a little adventure. We're going to go up to Keostationary Orbit with 3 satellites. The way we're going to do this, we're going to build a little craft. Say a little, it's actually way over engineered for what we're doing. You could kind of refine this and make it a lot nicer, but we don't need to worry about that. So I'm just going to attach the satellites using Clampotron Junior docking ports, put a stabilizer, a probe core, an inline RCS tank, some batteries, a fuel tank here in a minute, I'm also going to put some solar panels and a relay antenna, and then just a little spark engine to kind of get us there. I'm also going to rotate it so they fit a little better. I'm going to put a fairing on it, kind of protect it a little bit, and then just build the rest of the craft. It's not particularly exciting or interesting, but this craft is going to get us there. If you don't know, a geostationary or geostationary orbit is where your orbital period is roughly the same or about the same as the amount of time it takes for the planet to spin on its axis, or about a day. This way, the satellite stays roughly over the same patch of land. You can see me checking my station right there. Always check your station, as our great Scott Manley tells us. I'm going to launch right here. A good rule of thumb for new players is whatever your velocity is, divide that by 10, and that should be about how many degrees you're pitching over. It's not particularly efficient this way, but it's a good way to kind of get going. I'm going to go to about 45 degrees pitch over here, and then I'm not going to worry about it. We have enough delta V to get us to Duna most likely, so I'm just going to let us kind of get up there. We're not going to do a LKO transfer orbit or anything. You can make this launch way more efficient and make the rocket smaller, but ask me if I ever do that. So we're just going to get up to the apoapsis height for a geostationary orbit, which I believe is 2638, something like that, 2836, 2863. We'll see in a second, I'm sure. And then we're going to go to actually set our orbital period, so it's about 2/3 of a Kerbin day. Kerbin day is about 6 hours. We're going to go to about 4 hours. Where apoapsis is at, Kerbin's geostationary height, and our periapsis is such that we're at 4 hours. You'll see why, but it's going to make the delivery system kind of work out really nicely. So right here I'm just getting right at the apoapsis, and I'm going to go ahead and fire my engines once we get a little closer to get us into this orbit that I want. It should be about 4 hours when it's all said and done. I get pretty close. I'm going to use the RCS thrusters to get us kind of right where we need to be. You'll notice that if you want to be more accurate with this, you could wait now that I have this in the orbit, go around one more time to deliver the payload. But I'm not going to do that because I don't particularly care. I'm not trying to get it as accurately as possible. So once we get there, we'll deliver the payload and you'll see where it ends up. It's going to work out really nicely. But this is just something I threw together. Sorry about the low quality of the video, but it doesn't really matter. This is just for fun, which I think all KSP should be. I'm not using KSP2 because I've been having problems with it. It's not fully fleshed out. And also, I'm just trying to get something quick and dirty. I'm using my less powerful PC right now just to kind of get this going because someone suggested it. It's going to be really easy. We're going to go ahead and activate the engine. I don't know why I didn't do it through staging. I don't remember. But anyways, we're going to keep it a prograde and just kind of let us burn. I'm a little askew right here, which actually ends up being not a huge issue, but it would if you're trying to get these perfect. But for what we're doing, it's not going to matter. The more attention you pay to these things, the more accurate you're going to be, if that's something you need for your run. I forget to deploy the solar panel here, but I go back and fix it later. So I use the bracket key to switch between vessels when they're close, but when they're not, I have to switch back to the main vessel in the map mode. So right now I'm just going to time warp back to the apoapsis, before the apoapsis, and you'll notice the satellite goes above and then starts to fall behind us. That's the way orbital mechanics works. It's kind of weird to look at, but anyways, you'll notice we're going to get there. When we reach the apoapsis, that satellite will be roughly 2/3 through its orbit, which is why we chose that. That's because our orbit takes about 2/3 of that satellite's orbit to get where we need to be. It's mind-blowing, right? So this satellite's going to do the exact same thing. I actually gave us a little more time on this one. Again, if you want to be more accurate, the more time you give these things, the better they'll work out. So we're just going to wait till we get real close to the apoapsis time, and then we'll activate the engine and just kind of zoom off and make sure that we're watching the maneuver node menu to get us to that 6-hour mark. So this satellite's going to get there. We're going to go to the next one. But this stuff isn't hard. You could do this with 4 satellites, 5 satellites, 6 satellites. It doesn't really matter. You just really need at least 3 to get a good coverage on the network that you're trying to make. So again, we're going to switch back to the craft, and we're going to go time warp again and get it going. This kind of stuff really is easy. When you are using multiple crafts with multiples, especially if you're doing even numbers, you need to make sure you choose a fraction of them that will work for your purpose. For example, if we did 4 satellites and we chose to make our orbit only half as long as the other satellites, it wouldn't really work. We'd only be able to do two different nodes. You really need to kind of think these things out. I usually go 1 less than the total number. So if there were 6 satellites, I'd do 5/6. If there was 4 satellites, I'd do 3/4 of the orbit, or the period. Either way, however many you want to do, it doesn't particularly matter. The more attention you pay to this, the better it'll pay off. But if you want to get rid of some of the wigglement that will happen over time, you can add more nodes, more relays, as it were. I went ahead and remembered to do the satellite on that one. I'm going to switch back to the vessel and just kind of set the orbit to crash back into Kerbin because we want to save the space dolphins as always, as Matt Lown says. So we're just going to set that up. Again, we had so much Delta V left over. We have about 2,000 or 1,800 Delta V left over. We could go a lot of places, but like I said, I just wanted to get this craft kind of engineered. So right now you can see kind of the network set up to where that relay satellite is beaming down to the KSC, and ours is connected through that one. You're going to see in a minute in the tracking station how they're all connected together. I think it came out really nicely, but it all just depends on how much time you want to put into this thing. So I'm going to switch to all the other satellites and deploy the solar panels. Once these solar panels are deployed, they cannot retract. That's just the nature of the beast. Switch back to that one. So these kind of tutorials I see are a little hard to follow sometimes, so I hope I've made it pretty easy. You just kind of need to kind of play with it. You can look up all the information about geostationary satellites, geostationary orbits on the KSP wiki. You can see they all look like they're about 1/3 apart on the map view right now, but we'll go to the tracking station and verify. They are a little askew because, like I said, I didn't match everything up with the prograde markers. As far as the normal and anti-normal, they're a little bit off, but it's not going to matter too much. In real life, satellites get off all the time from the original orbits. Right now, I'm just going to go back out and rename all these satellites to something a little more differentiated, as they're all named Keo 1 relay right now. We're going to name Keostationary Relay 1, 2, and 3. You'll notice that we'll check the velocities here in a minute, I believe, but all the velocities are a little bit different because I didn't really verify that they were close. Again, quick and dirty. But you can see the coverage we have right now is all across the planet. We can see everything. It looks really good. It looks like we have a good network built up. This is kind of what you kind of want to see when you're doing this kind of network. Just a nice triangulated signal. They're all there. No problems. And again, they look like they're all about 1/3 apart. Maybe those two closer than this one. But again, as many as you want. It's pretty easy to do when you get the hang of it. You just kind of have to. I try to make it as simple as possible. You don't really need a bunch of numbers to do this to get a kind of a rudimentary network going. If you just know the top number, the apoapsis, and you can kind of remember the time of how long the day is. You should really be using a side wheel day to get this more accurate, but ask me if I ever do that. So that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's real quick. I didn't really want to put too much time into this. I just wanted to make something kind of quick because someone suggested it. I hope you guys like these kind of videos. It's real low quality, but I mean, we're not trying to win any awards here. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you next time.